Good morning, guys. How are you doing? And welcome to your market report for Thursday, July 5th, 2018. And let's open the charts up right here. And the first thing we're going to take a look at is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on the move, and the move is up. I see that this looks to me like she's going to continue to rise today. It's been rising. It's been on the rise. It's up to $6,633. If we move back a little bit here to the 30-minute, we can see the when it made a low here at 5,700, and we've seen a steady move upwards since. And this move is continuing, even though we've had a couple little points where it's went down a little bit. It's moving upwards. It looks to me, now, I mean, I could be wrong about this. And this is not to be used as financial advice on Bitcoin, but it looks to me like she's on her way up to 7,500, and then I think she's going to turn over. I don't think she's done making her bottoming process. Now, I bought in the 5,700 here. I bought some. I was lucky enough to get some at that price, and I tell you guys when I'm buying, and sure enough, she's went up a little bit since then, and I think she's going to go up more, up to 7,500, and I think she's going to roll over again. I do believe that the next bottom is coming, and I think you're going to have another buying opportunity, and I'm going to let you know when I'm buying. That doesn't mean that it's financial advice or anything. It just means that I'm telling you when I'm buying the stuff. Okay, I'll let you know. Anyway, here's the silver price today. What we're looking at is $16.01, and she's struggling really to stay above $16. They're trying to push it down so hard. That's why. It's not that the silver is struggling to stay above $16 because of fundamentals. It's because the silver is struggling to stay above $16 because they're creating so many paper short contracts. They're creating massive amounts of silver and dumping it into the market. But it's not silver. It's a representation of silver. The real silver is in such a short supply, the real honest-to-God silver that's available for sale. Now, see, there's a big difference between world supplies of silver. Like all over the earth, you can go here, there, and everywhere, and people have silver stashed away. But that's not part of the supply of silver that's available for sale. Readily available for sale, silver, is mostly supplied by the mines every year. It's something like, I forget the numbers offhand. I knew the exact numbers, but something like 800 million ounces a year come out of the mines. Now, they reached a peak in that production, you know. I think it was like 860 million or something like that. They reached a peak in production. That is going to decline, that production peak. We've reached peak silver, and now we're going to be going downhill from there into the 800s, and then into the 700s, and then into the 600s, millions of ounces of silver per year. While at the same time, you're going to see your bar and coin demand increase, and you're also going to see industrial uses increase. What does all that mean? It means that it's going to have a very strong effect on the amount of silver that's available for sale. And they're going to go into deficits every year. In the next 5 years, every single year is going to be a deficit year. Now, of the above ground inventory that's available for sale, how much is stored away every year that they have like put away that for deficits? There's a number we don't know, but I can tell you that it's an extremely small number. If they go into deficits for too many years, 2-3 years in a row, if they go into a profoundly big deficit, they're going to eat through that small amount of silver that they have in inventories that is available for sale. They'll eat through it all. And the miners won't be providing enough to supply industry and bar and coin demand on their own. And what we'll have is we'll have a shortage. But the shortage will not last real long, but it doesn't need to last long. the price will shoot up on silver, and what will happen is the shortage will end when the price gets high enough where the people that have silver will bring their silver out and put it into the market back for sale again onto the market. That'll end the shortage in the physical, and then what will happen is then the price will fall again. But the price could pop astronomically high during a silver shortage like that. And very, very quickly. The price would go up very, very quickly. It'd be amaze you how much the price could go up. And it's going to end when people like J.P. Morgan finally say, hey, you know, I've made my 10-bagger. You know, a 10-bagger being 10 times his amount of investment. J.P. Morgan's sitting there, and they know about what I'm talking about right now. And they're waiting to profit off of it. So when you see J.P. Morgan sell, that's the time you try to sell yours when you have silver. And I'm thinking to myself that silver's going to pop up like that very rapidly. But later, looking later into the future, you're probably not going to actually want to sell your silver either. If you can sell at that particular time, the same time J.P. Morgan's selling, you might do all right because the dollar will still have some value. It won't be the value that it has right now, but because it's been in decline, the dollar's been in decline for a long time. It's down to 4% of what it used to be worth. If you went back to like 1920, the dollar's only worth 4% of what it was worth then. And so it's in decline. It's going to continue that decline all the way down to 0. So we got 4% of our dollar left, basically. Anyway, that's what's going on with this. We are heading directly toward a physical silver shortage of silver that's available for sale. Now, I have to be very specific about that. It's not a general silver shortage where there's not enough silver available in the world. That'll never happen. Never. No, it's a shortage. The shortage we're heading toward is a shortage of physical above-ground silver that's available for sale into the market. That's the shortage we're heading toward, and it's going to be in the 1,000-ounce bars. There won't be enough 1,000-ounce bars available for industry and for bar and coin demand. That's the shortage we're heading toward, and we're heading right toward it. I can't tell you exactly when it's going to break out, but the more that they do this manipulation to the downside, the more that they are aggravating that shortage to happen. Because the lower that they drive this price, first off, they're making it more and more available for industry. In other words, industry says, hey, you know, silver, I mean, it's getting down cheaper than using chrome plating on our cars. They do cost pricing on here. They'll start plating bumpers with silver. If it gets down cheap enough compared to everything else that's skyrocketing in price, everything else is skyrocketing in price. These auto manufacturers might sit down and say, hey, you know what? We've just done, we're not going to use whatever to chrome our bumpers with anymore. We've just done a cost average, and we find it's cheaper to use silver for that. So what'll happen is industry will start to use it more and more as the price goes down lower and lower. I mean, look, just a few months ago, the price was in the 17s. Now it's in the 15s. Do you see prices going that way on other products, like your bread and your meat and everything else you buy? Do you see prices dropping right now? No, we see prices going up. And it's the same way for all these manufacturing companies. The price on everything else is going up, including oil and everything. But the price of silver is going down. It's the only thing that's going down. It's gonna make it so that industry wants to use more of it because it's cheaper to use than other things that they're using. Certainly, for an awful lot of products that are made with silver, it's the only thing that really works good for that particular application. Things like using it they use it on. You put on a new shirt, for instance. It's got silver in it. They use the silver to cut down on germs. You know, you put on a new pair of socks, got silver in it. Didn't know that, right? They use it in applications where you never knew it was used. Of course, the photo industry's used it for years. They've used it in in photovoltaic cells. They use it all through industry. And believe me, they use it extensively. And this is going to be a shortage. Anyway, I've rambled on enough about that. Let's get off to the Dow Jones here today. Let's see what the Dow Jones is doing. Okay, she's up 144 points this morning. Let me click it here to refresh it. Market open up 140 points, 140.78. She's up today, but I don't think it's really going anywhere. The Dow Jones, not right now anyway. Now let's take a look at oil prices, 74.24. And let's take a look at the cryptocurrency market capitalizations today. I mean, I really got off on a tear on silver, didn't I? Anyway, $275 billion, 42% Bitcoin dominance. And we're seeing some good buys in a couple coins here that I'm eyeing. One of the coins that I'm eyeing, it looks like a pretty good buy. It hasn't really moved up as good as it should. It's down 2.96% is Bitcoin Cash. $763. You can buy a whole Bitcoin Cash. And Litecoin right now, look at that. It's down 2.29% at $85.26. That is a bargain right there for because it hasn't moved up with Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is up 1.38% today at 6743. Now, let's take a look at bonds and rates. This morning the bonds were moving up. The yields were moving up on the long end. But now it's changed. It's tuned a little bit, and the bond yields are a mixed bag. It's only the 2-year that the yields are moving up. All the rest of the yields are falling. I'm waiting for these bond yields to pop, for the bond yields to go up, and they haven't yet. But we're still watching them. We're keeping our eye on them really tight. U.S. dollar, 94.34 today on the U.S. dollar. What can I say about the dollar? Is there's an internal war going on right now, with the dollar is at the center of this war, and it's between deflationary and hyperinflationary forces are at play, and it's doing a tug of war on the dollar. Deflation is probably going to win out in the end, but it's a real fight going on right now. Oil prices are moving the dollar toward inflation. The trade policies that Trump is putting in place are moving the dollar toward inflation. I believe that Trump wants inflation, and he's been really working hard to get inflation, and that's what all these this trade war is all really about. But ultimately, I think deflation is going to win in the end, and it's going to win in a snap. It's going to come in a snap. When the central banks move to fight that deflation, and they bring inflation back again, they will, by changing their monetary policy, then at that point we're in for a hyperinflation. It's going to be something like we've never seen before, and at the initial stages of the hyperinflation, we're going to experience a real economic recovery. It's not going to be a fake economic recovery. It's not going to be a head fake. It's going to be a real economic recovery, but it's going to come at a terrible price. It's going to come at the expense of the dollar. The dollar is going to die. And if all you are is invested in dollars when this economic recovery hits, you're going to see 100% loss over a period of about a year of all your money, and then they're going to do the reset. And the reset's just going to cost you. It's the way I actually see it is, I see it as the biggest organized theft. And that's what I said, an organized theft, because they're going to steal all your money out of the bank without going in and robbing your money. They're just going to make your money totally worthless. If your money's worth zero and it's in the bank, they've robbed it from you. They've robbed it through inflation. They've robbed your money. They're going to rob all of your money. This is going to be the biggest organized theft in the history of mankind. If you're on the wrong side of this trade, you're going to lose 100%. If you're on the right side of this trade, you're going to see yourself move up, quite simply. And what I mean by the right side of this trade is the real beneficiary of this death of the dollar. They think that it's going to be their new currency, but it's not. It's going to be cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is going to be the biggest beneficiary, and second biggest beneficiary is going to be gold and silver. But the dollar is going to be the big loser when this happens. And this is going to happen rather fast. It's coming down the pike really quick. It's almost unbelievable. Most people can't see it coming because it's almost unbelievable that this could actually happen. But all of the pieces are coming into place for it to happen. And on my show, that's what you can see. You can start seeing these pieces line up into position. In fact, I should do a show on this, and I think I will, showing these puzzle pieces coming into position to make this happen. You know, I'll have to think about that, how to arrange that show and how to do that show. So now let's move on to Deutsche Bank today. Deutsche Bank's not having such a bad day. Deutsche Bank is actually up to 9.58. It's up just a little bit from what it was. It's not quite so stressed as it was. Let's take a look at the 1 month. Say here it is, moving upwards a little bit. It's moving up off the floor, but it's like a prize fighter that's been down and he's been knocked out and his teeth are all missing, his eyeballs are all punched purple and swollen, and he's slowly getting up off of the floor again so he can get punched again. That's Deutsche Bank. Anyway, I've been rambling on too long. This program's getting to be too long. Thank you guys for listening. I try to keep it to 15 minutes, and we're at 17 minutes and 17 seconds today on this one because I've rambled a little bit, especially about silver, and I've also talked a long time about what's happening with the dollar. So listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye.